Hey guys, what's going on? I am so pumped up for today's episode of Trending Topics. I got my homie rapper Royce the 5'9" about to join me so we can go in and talk about some of the crazy things that's happening in the world right now. So you know what? I gotta hit that intro first so you can get introduced so properly. Here we go. Yo, what's going on, my boy? What's up, Royce?
What's up? What's up, Queen? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Hanging in there. Hanging in there. That's a beautiful intro. I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with one myself. I got to figure out something for when I start doing my little content thing. You know what I mean? Like I got to figure out some sort of intro.
I can't wait for you to get that together. I mean, come on though. You know you ain't gonna have no problem putting an intro together.
Sooner than later. Sooner than later. That's what I'm working on now. Like
Absolutely.
One of these days, I'm gonna show you my little setup and shit. I finally got my camera set up. Remember I was talking to you about before?
Oh yeah.
I finally got them clamped to the desk. So I got the 3 cameras clamped to the desk right now. I was gonna go live with you with the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be like,
Look, hey, bring the production up, baby. I'm into it.
What's up with you though? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, one day at a time, man. I think, that's where I am right now. Like one day at a damn time.
I'm knowing this pandemic ain't presenting nothing to us but bush, straight up BS. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, I mean, it hurt a lot of people. Myself, weight gain. Some of the older people I know in my family, it seemed like they progressed a little bit during COVID because they didn't get to go anywhere. I see the age kind of hit them a little harder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, Easter Day, we lost DJ K Slay.
Yeah.
Who was dealing with COVID for a long time. And we done lost so many people in entertainment and just in our personal lives from COVID, and people that we know lost people. It's just been a lot.
It's a mental health epidemic.
Yes, it is. And just to let people know, I'm doing a COVID-19 show next week. I'm having some people who have been impacted by COVID personally and have some great stories. So make sure y'all check it out sometime next week. I think next Wednesday. But Royce, what do you have to say about DJ K Slay and just the impact that he had in hip hop and all his work?
Yeah, I didn't know the brother super well personally, but I always made it a habit to go do his show every time I was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I love about Slay is he would always let me off the hook with rapping. Sometimes you go like on the legendary DJ's platform. Mm-hmm. You can't tell them you're not gonna rap. You know, like they don't let you slide with that. So he's an OG legend, and he always is like, "Don't worry about it. You ain't got to spit no bars, but we're gonna do the interview." So I appreciated that about him, and I just appreciate the energy that he brought to the game, and I also appreciate his evolution in the game as well. Like it was. He started off when he didn't start off as the Drama King, but I was first introduced to him as the Drama King, being way over here in Detroit. You know what I mean? Like that's when I first heard about him. So he was doing the Drama King mixtape. I think it was called the Drama King mixtapes. And then he was doing the Drama Hour on one of the satellite radio. I think he may have been on Hot 97 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Drama Hour, and he used to just promote beef all the time. But in his defense, like that was a time in hip hop where I feel like we needed a little bit of energy.
Okay, yes.
We needed that competitive spirit, you know what I'm saying? And I think once the whole bad energy thing started to kind of like run its course, you could tell that he kind of like shifted away from that, and he started promoting positivity all the time. And Slade was connected to the streets.
Yes, that's what I heard from Skyzoo. Everybody saying he was the ear to the streets.
Yeah, he was connected to the streets. Like he was connected to a lot of street dudes in a lot of different states. A lot of street dudes really loved him. So he was really good at, some people had that natural gift to just be able to corral people.
Mm-hmm.
He was like one of those kinds of people, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, when they're blessed to have that kind of power, they don't always use it well. You know what I mean? Like they misuse it. He never did that. I never seen him misuse it. It was always giving people passes, squashing beef, just getting in the, just being a real OG, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that I really loved about him. And another thing about him is he was one of the only guys that could, like, did you know he did like a 10-minute song?
No, I didn't. If I did, I forgot.
It's like a 10-minute song with, like, I don't even want to say the amount of rappers because I don't want to get it wrong, but it was more than 10 rappers on one song.
Oh, that's dope though.
Like he just brought a bunch of people together on one song to do one long joint, and he shot a video for it. He did a couple of them. I had the honor and the privilege to be on one of them. So just that kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like it was, like, because everybody can't do that. Everybody can't get Kiss, Chic, that nigga had he had, what's my man name? He had Omar Epps rapping on one of them. Who picked Omar Epps to rap? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what was it about? Was it, I mean, I know he had his ear to the street and so he was able to build his reputation up over time, but it had to be something about him as a person that drew y'all to want to work with him. What was that?
He just seemed like he's a real one to me, like every time I ever heard his name, it always came with, being presented to me in the highest regard possible, whoever was presenting it to me, and he was a real DJ, you know what I mean? Like, these guys now, man, they like CDJ DJs, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy.
Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
He using, like needles, Technique 1200s,
okay,
blends like a real DJ, one of the last real DJs, and just of the culture. Like, how can you not support somebody like that? You know what I mean? So
it's just like losing, I don't want to, I guess not childhood for some people, but just childhood memories. Like you starting to see people, pass away that, just meant a lot to your development. So that's the
part. That's the messed up part of life, like once you start getting up there in age like me, you don't have that problem, young lady. But me, you start getting up there in age like me, man, you know what I mean? Like you just start going through stuff. You start losing people. I got to go to my auntie's funeral, coming up.
Sorry to hear about that, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But I mean, over the pandemic, I've lost 9 people so far.
Wow.
9
That's
people.
Crazy. That's crazy. Royce, I did hear you say in the story when you was talking about DJ K Slay, you would say he was one of the few big DJs, a big show host that wouldn't ask you to rap. And I think I heard you say that before on another interview. The thing is, you rap really well, but what keeps you from wanting to rap sometimes when you go on these shows? Are you just not I know you say you're not a freestylist per se, but you just don't be in the mood, or what is it?
Yeah, well, let me clarify.
Okay.
It's not that he wouldn't ask me.
Okay.
Not that he wouldn't ask me. He wouldn't make me. See, that's the difference. Like he always wanted me to rap, but I would go on there and I just wouldn't have it because, like once the internet started really being up in full swing, it was this point in time, like before that, we used to be able to go and rap the same 3 verses on you know what I'm saying? Like,
look, dog, I am so glad you keeping it real. Okay, thank you so much for coming over here and saying some BS.
Yeah, so now it's like when you rap, as soon as you rap, I call them cutting room floor bars. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as you rap, it's like you spitting them onto the floor. They're done. You can't use them no more. So it's very rare that I have verses just sitting that's not on something. You know what I mean? Like for the last, I don't know how many years, whenever I write something, it's for a song. You know what I mean? So if I write something and let's say it's like a mixtape verse or something that nobody's heard yet, like if I have it memorized, then I can say it. But if I give somebody a feature or something and it hasn't came out yet, I'm not gonna rap that verse on like K Slay, before this person's song come out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love it. You like Florida in good times. Everything
So
going in that pot for the whole week. No meat is being wasted.
Yeah. So sometimes I just don't have it, you know. So I'm just real careful the way that I represent myself, you know. And I've tried different things. Like I've tried forcing it, and it just never worked for me. So I come to find that you're better off doing nothing than not being for sure that you can kill some shit. You know what I mean? Like you're better off just not doing it.
This is the realest answer about that I got, because so many people try to like, you know, they gotta say, oh, I can just come off the top of the dome right now, or oh, I don't even have to think. I just, you know, it's just good to hear somebody say, you know,
some people could do that. Some people could do that though.
They can.
I've seen people pull that off. Like I've seen Common do it. I've seen Lupe do it before. I've seen King Los. King Los does it all the time. Why is everybody coming here today? King Los, I've seen King Los do it plenty of times. Hold on one second.
Okay, no problem. Yo, that is so funny. Y'all know what I mean. And one of those big people that I'm talking about, which is Jay-Z, which I'm sure he does. There's been plenty of artists who's come out and said, you know, he don't have to write anything down. He just gets in the booth and spits. But I just feel like, you know, everybody can't have that talent, and it's okay. And that's what I'm saying. Artist at your level with your skills, it's just good to hear somebody just keep it 100. You know, I want to jump into some breaking news that just came out, and it's about ASAP Rocky. You know, he was in the islands with Rihanna, who's pregnant with his baby right now, and well, he thought he was coming back, and I guess he was gonna get the business back started, and you know, do whatever he got to do, but nope, he's detained at LAX in connection to a November 2021 shooting. So vacation is over, Royce. You think that was quite a surprise for the young boy?
Yeah, I'm sure it was a surprise. But you know what? You know what I've been learning, Kara? Like I need to have been there.
Okay.
I need to have been there because I don't always believe. I feel like rappers are being attacked right now.
You do?
I feel like celebrities are being attacked. I feel like celebrities are being blackmailed. I feel like I've seen a lot of things that look like they're smear campaigns to me. I just look at these like attacks. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like I like to wait for the facts, because you find out later. You may find out later that this nigga didn't even shoot a gun. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I learned not to jump to any conclusions with people. But it's always a possibility that, you know, that you can lose your cool. Like I said, it's a mental health crisis right now. It's an epidemic. The pandemic is having that effect on us, you know. So I can see, you know, these are trying times. So I can see something happening where somebody can lose their cool. But I also give artists, celebrities the benefit of the doubt too. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna speak about the homie like he may have actually did that, you know what I mean, without having the facts. Because sometimes that make the situation a little bit worse. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I watch things and I think to myself, like I look at other artists and I be like, why are you speaking? You know what I mean? Like,
on me, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's like, why are you speaking about this? Or why are you talking? You know what I mean? Like, so I never like the way that looks, so I never want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Even though, now don't get me wrong, I always got something to say.
Well, you know you on trending topics today, so
you know what I mean? So what I do is I just do it with my people, and you know, behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like we crack our jokes, we pass our judgment, but you know, never publicly. You know, we got to have like a code, like a brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like so.
Well, why do you feel like entertainers are being attacked right now? Who's getting attacked? Can you speak on that?
I got attacked.
What you get attacked?
I got attacked by somebody. I'm not gonna say the guy's name, obviously, but I got attacked by him, and I was gonna give him a feature.
Wow. Okay.
We spoke about doing business together, and before I could get him the verse, he started smearing my name.
Dang.
And accusing me of scamming up and coming artists.
Wow.
Out of money. And then he started getting paid by I don't even know what to call this guy. But it's a guy who has a platform who I spoke about publicly who doesn't like me. He started paying him to smear my name.
Wow.
And so
See?
that's to me, that's an attack, because that's like some people's version of violence. When some people are not with the shit from a physical standpoint, they attack you in other ways. You know what I mean? So
It sounds like that person was just a hoe for money.
I mean, yeah, it's money sometimes, and sometimes people just don't mean you well. Sometimes people just want to do things at your expense, or they see an opportunity to be able to do something at your expense.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, the other day I had a little fit because I was thinking about some of the people that I just was been so genuine to and have helped out in different ways. And I've always taught, don't look for nothing in return. But sometimes it's just like, okay, well, you should kind of be on my team, or I should be able to expect a little bit of loyalty from you. But does that ever make you want to kind of just chill out on doing them type of favors, being nice like that?
Yeah, I mean, it affects my it affects my outlook on brotherhood.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
But like I go through little phases where I'm like that, and then I get myself out of it. I find a way to pull myself out of it. I can't let these people drag me down to their level. You know what I mean? Like I'm higher. I vibrate higher. You know what I'm saying? So I go through periods. The pandemic has had a terrible effect on me, a terrible mental effect. So I go through periods where it just feels dark. It feels dark. I'm angry. I want to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I just figure out ways to just pull myself out of it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not productive when I'm thinking that way and when I'm feeling that way. And it's an immature way to approach just life in general, but it's a trigger.
Yeah, we've been on the same wavelength because I really been having to do some woo-haws, woo-saws, I mean,
Yeah, like
just
you gotta find it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Nobody's gonna provide your zen for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta find it, and you find yourself in situations where you just turn in the other cheek so much, and there's this social construct that we've been subscribing to our whole lives. We were born and raised in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times when we turn in the other cheek, we thinking to ourselves like, man, these motherfuckers is gonna keep treating me like I'm a whole
Right.
boy.
Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot.
Way past flag football, because that's what this shit is. This shit is flag football.
I'm trying to tell you, boy. I'm trying to tell you. And then me personally, then I'll see somebody I don't like or who betrayed me. Then they want to get with one of my people that I actually like, and then I gotta look side at this person now. Like, yeah.
But why do they do that? Like, I don't fuck with this. I don't fuck with them. So why you? You know what I'm saying?
You know how people are. They be like, well, they cool with me. So
opportunities.
Yeah. But it also depends on how cool you are with the person. Cause like if you sort of friends with a person and they like somebody that you don't like, they may feel like, well, we just kind of cool. Ain't like we that close. So,
right.
Who knows? But y'all need to leave me and Royce alone because our patience is
I'm gonna be all right. I can't speak for sis, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to be comfortable in the fire. Like I know I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning. I didn't realize I took certain things so serious, but the truth is one of them. Like lying, you accuse me of lying. Woo, boy, that's how you get me going right there. I hate the thought of somebody thinking that me as a grown man has to lie to anybody for anything. I don't have to lie about anything. The rappers have such a bad reputation. You know what I mean? Because there's been so many clowns over the years. You know what I mean? Like I can't expect for some random person in the comments to just assume that I'm so real. You know what I mean? Like they don't know me. You know what I mean? So they're gonna assume whatever they feel like assuming based off of whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's up to me to not. I was talking to my therapist and she said something to me that was like it resonated with me to this day. And this was a while ago. She said, we choose what to be upset about, right? We choose what to be offended by.
I mean, that's some good stuff, but
That's
sometimes, go ahead.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. There's no real perspective to put with it. If you look at it just that simple, I don't have to be offended by things if I don't allow it to get to me. You know what I mean? And I know that shit is easier said than done. But I mean, that's the challenge. That's what I'm up for.
I like how you just left me out there talking about, so you don't know how sis gonna be, but I'm
because I can't speak for you when it comes to, you know, like, God forbid, I'm like, yo, me and sis, we gonna start ignoring all y'all. Then next thing you know, Kera Dangerous just punch somebody in the face coming out of the
I'm telling you,
out of the Waldorf Hotel.
It's hard. I don't even want to speak on nothing. You got to be careful because they run everything back and use it as evidence. So,
yep.
I'm good. Look, I want to take an audience question here. Somebody just asked Trez Vids, Kendrick new album coming. Any chance of a Royce collaboration?
You know what? I'm supposed to see Kendrick. I don't know the exact date, but he's supposed to be coming here. But nah, I haven't had a chance to link up with him yet. And I know the brother's probably asking that because I posted about Kendrick's album. And that's another thing that I don't think people are accustomed to rappers doing, just supporting each other. You know what I mean? But I always just make it a habit to support the people that I feel are contributing in a good way, in a positive way, and making good music and pushing the right line. You know what I mean? So I always support Kendrick. I support everybody on TDE though. You know, that whole TDE, all of them dudes. I fuck with all of them. Yeah, I would just support them. That's it. But we'll probably end up doing something at some point. You know what I mean? Like every time we see each other, we speak about doing shit, you know, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Lovely. That'll be a dope collabo. Another question here by Bricks. I hate to ask because I know Royce hates questions, questions, but is Royce on the upcoming Eminem album? I didn't know you hate Eminem questions.
I didn't know I hated him either. Yeah, let me clarify. I don't hate the M questions at all. You know what I mean? But I can understand why somebody would think that, because it's like everybody wants to have their own identity, but what a lot of artists don't realize, and what people don't realize, is like you just got to realize like who you are and what your position in this shit is. You know, M is just a part of my journey. You know, and he's such a big megastar, and people don't get to hear from him a lot. You know, so I think when people look at my interviews, they enjoy me speaking about him in such a candid way. I call him Marshall, and when I speak about him like he's human. And I think that's just interesting to people, you know, but it doesn't bother me when people ask me M questions. It doesn't bother me. Another misconception with artists is that it bothers artists for people to ask them for pictures and people to bother them while they're eating because they heard other artists. I'm not bothered by none of that shit. I'll be bothered if it stops. You know what I'm saying? So with M, I don't mind answering the M questions, especially not questions about his album.
Y'all don't run up to every celebrity when they eating, because a lot of them don't. That's Royce because he nice, but don't.
Yeah, I'm nice. I don't look approachable, but I'm approachable. But yeah, I don't mess with people while they eat either. I think that's rude. You know what I mean? But I also I think it's a little weird to just expect for people to treat you normal when you're not doing normal shit.
Nah, I agree with that wholeheartedly right there. Definitely.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Bricks, me and M have a few songs laying around in the tuck. I don't know if any of them are going to be on his album as of yet, and I don't even know if he's working on an album. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's recording some songs right now. I know that he called me a couple of days ago and told me he wanted me to get to the studio sooner than later and check out some songs that he has, but I don't know what they're for, what he's doing. So
that's interesting. Can't wait to hear more about that.
He always recording though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know, because I mean, not to say he gonna pass away, but I like when artists working on so much music. So if something does happen to them, then we're gonna have a lot in the vault.
Yeah, he definitely. I think he definitely thinking legacy for sure too.
Yo, that's beautiful. Now, since we're talking music, I got to get your opinion on artists like Snoop Dogg and Kanye West. Now, Snoop Dogg explains why he removed Death Row albums from streaming services. You know, Kanye dropped his last album on his own stem player. Fans had to purchase. And Snoop Dogg is also a part of the metaverse. He has NFT, so he's moving into this new lane. And artists are now trying to take more control of their streaming of their music because we know you get paid such a little amount of money when you're on other people's platforms. So, do you like seeing artists creating their own streaming services?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think streaming in general, and I say this respectfully, but streaming is robbery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, streaming is something that was presented to us artists. There was an existing agreement between the streaming services and the labels already. So they presented it to us when they were in bed already, and they said, "This is the percentage that you guys are gonna get off of each stream," and we didn't get to negotiate that. So I've always felt the way about streaming, you know. So when I see artists being a little bit more proactive and not being so content with just letting people control and run shit who don't create anything, I think that's great. I love it, especially what Ye is doing.
Right. You got to buy a whole player to listen to this stuff.
Hold on, let me show you something.
Oh boy, I bet he has it. Oh, I wish I could come up with my own streaming. Oh. Wow, you got two.
I got both of them. I got both albums.
Wow,
That's
nice.
This is Donda 1, and this is the other one. See, both.
So what do you? I mean, how does it work?
I never used it.
Oh, okay.
It's just I just had to support. I had to support the brother when making that kind of move.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Collector's item.
Mm-hmm. And I love Ye too.
Yeah, we talked about him last show. Had a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was gonna go on, but somebody in the audience just asked a really good question, and I don't know how I didn't think to even bring this up myself. And since this is Roy's interview, or he's a part of this, we won't make the whole interview about Eminem, but I think this would be a good question to ask you. Do you think the game is a challenge for Eminem? Because I know you heard the comments he said on Drink Champs, and he feels like he can go against Eminem in a versus. He said he didn't always feel that way, but now he knows that he's better in that aspect.
I think game is a good challenge for anybody. You know, I think people kind of underestimate what he's done and his lyrical ability. The nigga is stellar. He's a stellar MC. As far as the verses, no, I don't think so. I don't think so unless it comes down to preference. You know, I just feel like he just hit that plateau too many times over the years in terms of songs. In terms of a rap battle, I think Game would have a much better shot. Like he'd do much better because that's his lane. You know, Game, when he come for somebody, he come for fucking blood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I think it'll be entertaining. I mean, from what I'm hearing that it's a song that exists that he's supposed to be releasing. So I guess we'll wait to hear the song. I just hope that he don't think that shit is going to be some sort of walk in the park, because Marshall, he don't turn the other cheek, man. You know what I mean? So all these motherfuckers thinking that he just sitting somewhere without no backbone, it's just not true. You know what I'm saying? It's not true. You're not about to push around, bully that man. You're not going to do nothing to him. You're not going to touch him. None of that's going to happen. You're going to rap your raps. They're going to be great raps, but those cars come both ways.
There's no way he could think that it would be easy. I don't believe that. That'll be kind of insane.
I think he feel like it'll be an honor because the Game is a student of the sport. You know what I'm saying? I think he feel like it'll be an honor to sport because honestly, there's not going to be no loser. All he got to do is just make it good enough. And when has Game never did that? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's what he does. But Marshall, I haven't heard from Marshall about this, but I guarantee you, if Game says the wrong thing in those records, he's gonna want to respond. Now, who can talk him out of responding? I don't know. I don't think I'm one of those people who can talk him out of it. I don't even know if I would try to talk him out of it. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what happens.
Oh, he definitely gonna respond. It's funny because I had just caught a clip the other day that was circulating, just going back talking about Eminem versus Machine Gun Kelly, when he was a rapper. Now he's moving on to rock, and I saw a clip where Eminem said, you brought up my daughter's name, and I gotta go after you. So I know that if Game says the right thing, it'll activate Eminem to respond.
It don't take much.
Right.
Take much.
It doesn't take much. That's hilarious. Now look, I saw you on a Joe Budden podcast, and you were literally like, this. Look, you got to look up. You were like, you were just chilling.
My mic.
Your heaven mic. I like it.
Yep.
That's the mic you're gonna use for your show.
I'm gonna use it for my show, but I'm gonna use it for all interviews.
Why you ain't use it for this one?
I'm not ready yet. I don't have it. I've got somebody coming to help me finish hooking up everything. I don't have it all the way hooked up yet.
Look, I want to update. We want to update. Where's this Slaughterhouse situation at right now? And your two other members, Joel, Crook, they put out an album. You and Joe wasn't happy about it. Of course, Joe's retired. I caught Crook on an interview, I think it was about a month ago, and he basically said he got love for you. And he talked to you a couple of times, but as far as Joe, he wanted to leave him out of business. He's retired. He said he doesn't even want to do business with him anymore. And so, yeah, so where are y'all right now with this? I mean, everything hashed out, everything good, or?
I mean, releasing the album is kind of hashing it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really nothing else to hash out from there. It ain't never no beef. It can't be no beef. So I mean, they made a decision. And it's just unfortunate because now we can't do the things with the brand that we wanted to do, that we had plans to do. It's unfortunate. I felt the way about it for a minute, but whatever. You know what I mean? Just we move on from it. I'm not tripping.
So what was the idea gonna be? Because if Joe's retired, were you guys supposed to come back together and do an album without him, or? I mean,
Joe's not. He's retired, but Slaughterhouse is a brand that he's part owner of. That's one of the things. That's one of the few things like in this whole shit that we actually own. You know what I mean? So Joe was more than ready to come back rapping with Slaughterhouse. He wasn't gonna do any more solo albums, but he was more than ready to come back and rap with Slaughterhouse. And Crook and Joel, they both know that. You know what I mean? Like we had a number of Zoom calls, and like we talked about it. We were making plans, and it's not just about the rapping. It's a whole bunch of things that we could have did with the brand, and we were talking about. We were talking about relaunching the merch. We were talking about just relaunching the site. Period. We regained control and ownership of a lot of previous masters, mainly the very first album that we did on Koch E1. We got back control of that one. So, there was like, there's probably $2 to $5 million that got left on the table.
Wow.
So when they did what they did, they just blindsided me. And I just felt the way about, they blindsided me and Joe. But I felt a way about it with Crooked, mostly because me and Crook was the closest out of everybody. Like, when he went on his whole promo thing, he made it seem like that I'm always taking Joe's side on stuff, and me and Joe, but me and Crook are the ones that were the closest.
Well, he did say that he has so much love for you, and he said, as a friend, I could have communicated better to him that I'm only talking to Joe for you. I would prefer to move Slaughterhouse forward without Joe because he's retired. So he made it clear on the interview that I saw that he got a lot of respect for you out of everybody.
Well, here's the thing. Joe said he retired. Crook said he done with Slaughterhouse publicly before.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that when Joe says something publicly that it's got to get taken and used as like ammunition, as a weapon? We were on Zoom calls together, all four of us, talking about the things that we were going to do. Then next thing you know, boom, they do that. What do you mean you could have communicated it better? You could have did a lot of shit better, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like you knew what you were going to do. And it's like, yo, I just respect the truth. Just stand on it, man. If you can't stand on it, that's what I got a problem with. If you're going to do it, just do it. Do it and stand on it and say, yo, I was going to get a check, my nigga. Don't drag me and make me seem like I'm lying or make me seem problematic in any kind of way. I'm not the problem. I'm never your problem, my nigga. I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a minute to get past that, but I'm past it now. So, it just is what it is.
And I know you say you're over it, but before we stop talking about it, I just want to say that Crook also said on the bootleg Kev interview about a month ago, he said, to be honest, they were kind of put in a position. I kind of afforded them, a little elbow room to be emotional and, try to address it in the best way that they could, being caught off guard like that.
Shut the fuck up. Let's talk about something else, girl. You got to make me mad in here.
Yo, look, though, I hope you ain't mad at me.
No, I wasn't telling you to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying. Nigga, shut that shit up.
I mean, the album is called Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse. I think that would have annoyed me the most.
Yeah, because we had an addendum. We had an agreement that we had together that said when we make decisions as a group, there has to be there has to be 3 votes. So there has to be what's the word that I'm looking for? When you got 3 and then you got one left, unanimous. You got to be a unanimous vote. It has to be a unanimous vote in order for us to make decisions. You know what I mean? So legally, they weren't allowed to go public and tell the whole world that Slaughterhouse is over with. I never agreed to that. Nobody called me, sent me a text and said that they were through.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever Joe went public and said that he was retired, he always spoke for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He never spoke for me and spoke for everybody else. And that's what I respect about Joe. Everybody think Joe's so grimy and Joe is a backstabber. Joe ain't stabbing you in your back.
Whatever he didn't stab y'all in y'all back, y'all stabbing us.
Yeah, so it's like anything he does is gonna be right in your face. Mm-hmm. And I fuck with them kind of people. I fuck with those kind of people. And somebody like Crooked, somebody who I just held to such a high standard, I made a mistake with him. Like I projected a lot of my characteristics onto him because I felt like we were so much alike, and I held him to a super high standard. Mm-hmm. So everything that he did is so non-characteristic of him. I'm just going to blame it on the pandemic. I don't know what else to blame it on. You know what I mean? But I can't fix it. It's a decision he made without me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So all I could do, if he called me and said, yo, man, I was tripping, my bad, I'm going to just accept his apology. Well, like, what I'm going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's it. It ain't nothing to hash out. If he don't call me, cool, because it's not like we're going to ever have the same relationship again. I'll never be able to look at him the same. So it is what it is. And when I see him, I'm never going to be the uncomfortable one.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is.
Whew. I've been there before with friendship, and I know why it means so much because I did hear you say at one point, you said it was 3 different things. It was a group assignment, a friendship part, and a business part. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of little moving parts to what y'all had going on.
Mm-hmm. So it's something in this business about building something with people. That's a bonding experience. You know what I mean? Like building something with people and making money with people and making history with people. It makes you love those people. I love them niggas. I never stop loving them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it hurt. You know what I mean? That's why it just is what it is. But you know how it is with black men. You can't express how you feel about things. Like, oh, he being emotional. He being emotional. Like, yeah, nigga, I'm very emotional. I'm a Cancer, first of all. Very emotional about the things that I love, man. Like, that's the things that it did in my heart, my art, my family, and my friends, the people who I hold to a standard. I'm very emotional about those people. I get very emotional. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is. I'm trying to be a solutionary thinker. If I feel like I can't fix it, or I can't, there's nothing I can say to push it in a better direction, then it's nothing I can do. I got to move on from it. I can't let it consume me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to tell people right now, while we're at this point, if you haven't already, don't be petty. Make sure you hit that like, thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit it. Make sure you subscribe to Kera Dangerous Talk if you haven't already. I'm here with Royce the 5'9". Just spoke about Slaughterhouse. So I have to ask you, is it even worth being in a group? Because back in the day, people used to say, you got to split your money in all these different ways. Then you got so many people that can change their minds on things at a drop of a dime. Like, is it worth it?
I mean, I think that's a good question, but I mean, yeah. I mean, it was worth it for me. I can't speak for other people in groups. It was worth it for me, you know. Even with the bitter end, you know, the way that it ended. I mean, it's just fucked up, but it was still worth it. I mean, I wouldn't go back and change anything. I mean, I still love them for what they helped me do. You know, I never want to lose sight of that. You know what I mean? I never want to sum a motherfucker up by some shit that he did at the very end. You know what I mean? And that kind of represents our entire, you know, relationship. I'm not gonna do that. You know,
yeah, it's like some of my past relationships. Like, I hate this bitch. Like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes people can do something that just makes you hate the whole situation. But then, yeah, you have to find that quiet place, and you have to find that good place in your heart to say, no, everything happens for a reason. There's a lesson in everything, and kind of smooth things over. So I definitely feel you when it comes to that.
Yeah, everybody can't go. Everybody can't go where you're going. You know what I mean? Sometimes God just does inventory.
Yes.
Start sorting shit out, you know, and placing people where they belong. You know, they're in your life for a certain amount of chapters, or the amount of chapters that they were meant to be there. And that's just one of the unfortunate parts of just growing up, getting older, outgrowing people, or maybe you've been outgrown by people. Maybe they're growing in a different direction and you don't fit. You know,
there's been a few people that I've had leave my life. Well, one or two, I'm like, okay, I see why you left. But, you know, for the most part, that's something that I had to learn to get better at, because I did have a problem with certain people leaving my life, almost like an abandonment issue.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I'm triggered by feeling like I've been stuck in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Like people feeling like that they done with you. You know what I mean? Like they've used you, they've gotten out of you everything that they think that you have left, and then they kind of move on from you, like you just damage or something. You know, that triggers the fuck out of me. But that's the nature of this business.
It's the nature of life. You know, and sometimes it just depends on how the person leave you. Some people are just, and you can't predict that, because it's just what life is. But sometimes it's just such a nasty ending, and that's the part.
Yeah, and it's not always that they were planning to do it. It's just sometimes people just change. You know, sometimes people's outlook on life changes. Sometimes people get desperate, and it brings out a color to them that you've never seen before, or has never been presented to you in that relationship. And they start being willing to open up doors that you didn't even know existed in the relationship. You know, and it's tough to deal with. It's tough to deal with, but I like when I feel like I'm being tested, especially when things happen in a row. You know, that lets me know something good is coming. You know what I mean? I can feel it. It just feels like, you know, like it feels like you're trying to see if I'm a warrior.
Well, I must be a damn warrior over here then, because I'm getting tested for sure. Like Lord Banks, I'm a warrior. Speaking of Lord Banks, Royce, this is trending topics day, so you may have to talk about some people that you may know. But look, we're gonna have to talk about Young Buck. Okay, G Unit.
That's G Unit. That's family.
Yes. Now, 50 Cent fired off a cease and desist letter to stop Young Buck from making music. Now, Buck has since filed for bankruptcy to discharge all his debts, including the money that 50 Cent claims he still owes him. 50 Cent and all the people he worked with, it's just like he has a problem with them. But this is, I guess this part is business. 50 Cent has been saying for a while that Young Buck still owes him time, I guess, still owes him music. So at this point, Buck is in a little legal trouble trying to bring up this other sheet. So Buck actually did an interview and said that he's down to talk to 50 Cent face to face. He's into that type of energy. On Buck's Instagram, some of his posts have recently got him in trouble and caught the attention of the federal courts. He's been posting a motorcycle, a set of gold grills, and even Cash App donations, which he didn't disclose to the courts in his initial bankruptcy filing. What do you think about this situation with Young Buck and 50 Cent? Do you think this is unfortunate?
Of course. Definitely unfortunate, because think about all the great music that could have been made, during this process. Because you think of everything that they've done, they've made some classic shit, and they've achieved great things. So it's always unfortunate to see my brothers not being able to come to an agreement, and it always, for the most part, it usually takes exactly what Buck is saying for people just to get face to face and just talk it out. You know what I mean? Like 50 obviously loved the nigga because they wouldn't have got so close, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So I understand what they're going through. You know what I mean? Like, and I just wish them the best. I just hope that they can figure it out.
Well, let's keep in mind too.
Not spilling over into like the streets or some crazy shit.
Yeah, because I didn't know where he was gonna go with the whole I'm into the face-to-face energy and all that type of stuff. The interviewer was trying to ask him, "Oh, you've been working out? You think you take 50?" But he didn't really play into that. But 50 Cent also, they say he doesn't even get along with Lloyd Banks anymore. Lloyd Banks is one of my, I don't know if I should say favorite rappers, but he's one of my favorite as far as flow. I love the way his voice sounds and the way he kind of flows like water.
Me too.
And his lyricism. But 50 Cent actually blames himself for Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo's unfulfilled potential. He says that Lloyd has a Lazy Lloyd tattooed on his arm, and he literally wears what 50 Cent looks at him as on his sleeve. So he thinks Lloyd Banks is lazy. And I guess I can understand sometimes when a person is your friend, but you're also kind of their boss, because we heard Puff say that people always getting on him about the way he is with his artists, but he was like, you don't know how they are in the studio. I've seen people come in the studio and shoot up crack. I've seen people come in the studio and just not even dare to even do the work. So what's your opinion on that when you hear some of these artists that you think are really big artists, and you hear that their work ethic isn't good, and you hear 50 Cent have to come out and kind of say something about that?
Well, it's easy to believe. I mean, I've never been in the studio with Banks, but just speaking on just artists in general, a lot of artists are lazy, and there's always a lot of elements that goes into a project working, groups working. Like what I find is that it's the best thing to do is for everybody to fall into a role. You know what I mean? Like when we did Slaughterhouse, we all played a certain role, and when we all embraced the roles that it seemed like was intended for us, that's when it went the best. So 50, speaking from an executive standpoint, it's very hard to like help nurture an artist and give them the attention that they need from you, if you're like the front runner, so to speak, and be an artist at the same time. Give yourself the attention that you need as well. I've seen Puff struggle with that as well. So I mean, so I don't really think nothing about it, like, and then there's also two sides to every story.
True.
So you never know what the fuck is going on. And you never know like when these guys are gonna make up. If they're gonna make up or anything like that. And then here you are, the rapper who's been speaking on shit and they back cool and everybody's people did that to me like plenty of times. Like I had a public beef with my brother's crew, D12. Like, and it was a lot of people locally in the city who just had shit to say. You know what I mean? Like, and when me and Proof got together and we made up, it was just like, yo, we forgive each other, nigga. I don't forgive you though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't forgive you. You never should have been speaking. You know what I mean? So it's just like one of those things. And I think I heard 50 say something like that before. He was like, I don't get in people's shit because I think he was speaking on Baby and Wayne. I don't get a lot of people spoke on Baby and Wayne, and I felt them. It's like, why would you speak on Baby and Wayne? Like, they obviously have a fucking bond, you know what I mean? That can make it through anything. So they're gonna eventually make up. Then what? Now here you are, you all record saying, that nigga be robbing niggas. He be
yeah. Well, you know what though? When it comes to this Young Buck situation, I think it's gonna take, unless Young Buck is just some kind of person I don't know him to be. But 50 Cent has been saying that he's gay and saying he messes with transgender women. And for a man, if he's straight, a lot of black men who's straight, that's like a low blow for them to hear that. So to me, 50 Cent, he goes for the jugglers. So I don't think this situation it will be smoothed over that quick. I mean, it's been going on for a while. I've been hearing about them going back and forth on this money issue for a minute, or Young Buck not, coming up to 50 and giving him what he needs and providing him with the money or the work, the music or whatnot. So a lot of people owe 50 Cent's money. So, I mean, obviously, don't borrow nothing from him, obviously.
I thought that same thing. I thought that him and Buck, I thought it was an irreparable thing. You know what I'm saying? And then they ended up on the Summer Jam stage together. You remember that?
You said they ended up on what stage together?
On the Summer Jam stage together. Like they ended up squashing everything, and G Unit was back on for a minute, and then they fell out again.
Yeah, they're not even back here again.
Now they back here again, but if we looking at the shit like glass is half full, then we looking at it like, okay, so it's a potential that they can patch it up.
Now I got some great audience questions here. I mean, these are really good. I want to see which one I want to ask first. This one, Royce, where does the line draw between business versus personal? And I think this is a great question since we're kind of talking about this right now.
It's all about where you are emotionally, and it's your job. It's your job to be able to separate the two. When you're talking about art, you're talking about anything in the art space, in the space of art, everything is personal. Nothing is just business. You know what I'm saying? So you have to figure out a way to draw the line. And I think it's unique to the individual, who's
everything is personal. So you're taking a different spin on that, because I've said that it sometimes is personal, because every time you try to say that it's personal, people say, no, it's business, it's business.
Well, I'm saying in the realm of art.
Okay.
Like when let's say a blogger or a journalist or somebody rates my album, it's just business.
Okay, yeah.
If they say something bad, if they say anything bad about it, I'm taking that personal. That's my art. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to separate that. It's hard to separate that, but it's my job to do that. So it's up to me to decide where to draw the line at. And like different ways of approaching that works differently for different people. Kanye found great success by being very verbal about people criticizing him in any way. You know what I mean? Some people, tried it because they seen Ye do it and it didn't work for them because they just come off as arrogant, So I think the key is just to find that sweet spot. Try not to take things personal, because like I said, that is a choice. And then it's unique to the individual.
Lovely. This one, another audience question, and then we'll go to another topic. Can you please ask if there's any unreleased Proof freestyle verses that may get released one day?
hit up Drunken Mass. Drunken Mass. Hit up Drunken Mass on Instagram. That's Drunken Master. He's another legendary DJ in Detroit. He told me that he has a proof record where he's dissing me from back in the day that nobody's heard. He's been telling me to come to the studio and get it, but I just haven't had time to go to do it. How you doing, brother?
What up, man?
I haven't had time to go and check it out. You know what I'm saying? But if there's any unreleased, that's probably the one that you can think about. What's up, bro? How you feel? Two of my brothers just walked in.
Oh, hey, brothers.
What's up? What up?
What up? That's what's up. Well, thank you for answering that, and thank you guys for the audience questions. I love that. Now, I wanted to bring up Mac Miller because September the 7th, 2018, 26-year-old Mac Miller was found dead in his home from an overdose. Mac Miller's drug dealer was found guilty of distributing, fentanyl and sentenced to nearly 11 years in prison, a federal court has ruled. So nowadays, they are definitely going after these drug dealers who give bad drugs to their clients, I guess I can say. And Mac Miller was one of these people. The actor who used to be on The Wire, his name doesn't ring a bell at the moment.
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Yep. They said he had fentanyl and he overdosed. So what do you think about this, going after the drug dealers when somebody overdose, when they get a bad batch or whatever drug they're taking?
I absolutely think that they should.
You think they should?
Oh, man, I don't think that there should be any code to protect these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck all the street shit. Fuck all the street shit when you got our great ones dying. You got our great ones dying. Y'all got to chill with that street shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? Like, if you choose to get in that profession and you choose to sell drugs, I understand you. I can't judge you from that standpoint. But if you're not careful with what you're doing and you're giving people shit with high doses of poison that's killing them, your ass need to go to jail. Point blank, period.
What responsibility does the client, the person buying the drugs, have?
Well, that's a different conversation. That's an addict conversation. You absolutely have all the responsibility in the world to take care of yourself, you know, but obviously that's easier said than done. Just like if I were to say you shouldn't sell drugs, that's easier said than done. You know what I mean? So there's a responsibility on both sides, and there's a high level of accountability that has to be, you know, adhered to on both sides. You know, so is it Mac Miller's fault for doing the drugs? I guess. Is it the guy's fault for selling them to him? I guess. Should people be held accountable for Mac Miller dying? Fuck yeah.
But think about it. If this is the case, we may not have some of the greatest rappers who sold drugs if they would have got caught. You know, who knows if they gave somebody a bad batch.
You just gotta know, you know what I mean? But you gotta understand too that the US, just the country in general, the government, all of that, all these synthetic drugs, all the big pharma, all of that shit, they trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us. So you just gotta be very careful. You gotta be very careful. But I understand how difficult it is to be able to perform and create when you're an addict and you taught yourself, you know, you trained yourself to believe that you need all of these things in order to be creative. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough thing. I go through it all the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we talked about your sobriety and everything in more depth in the first interview. So you guys go back and check out that first interview. It was like a therapy session. It was a good interview. For those of you who are just joining us, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the Kera Dangerous Talk channel if you haven't. I'm here with rapper Royce the 5'9" from Detroit, in his Heaven Studios that I love. I'm gonna ask another audience question here. Did you learn any instruments since becoming a producer? Because we know you said last time that you've been learning how to put your own music together.
Well, my good friend Mr. Porter, he one of the ones who just walked in. He pretty much the one who taught me how to make beats. And since the pandemic happened the way that it happened, I felt like it was a good opportunity for me to take that time and go like take a course, and I was going to learn music theory, and he told me don't, because when you learn theory, now you know the way things are supposed to sound in terms of perfection with music notes. But if you look at the way the hip hop is produced, it's not about perfection at all. It's not about things being in key. It's not about none of that. It's just about knowing what sounds right. So sometimes when you learn too much, it inhibits your ability. It inhibits your ability to be able to use your instincts as opposed to this.
Oh yeah, because I went to entertainment school, Full Sail, and the more you learn people about film, some people are like, "Oh, I just can't watch a movie that's like this or like that because I know how it's supposed to be." So yeah,
Yep.
stuff starts sticking out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody also asked, should there, and you guys have to let me know exactly what you're talking about. Should there be some type of board to protect artists? Example, okay, from false claims.
I think that there should be some type of board to protect us from everything. You know,
Okay.
we
Good
should
luck.
we should have like a union. We should have like all kinds of stuff. Like we should really police our culture. You know, and really embrace being gatekeepers. You know, like we shouldn't allow people to just come in our culture and be able to just do anything. You know, so I'm definitely open to the idea of something like that. I think that we should at least start thinking that way.
Well, I tell you what, I got something to show you, another topic for you. So just check this quick little video out. So that's Colin Kaepernick.
You know, I know who that is. That's God.
Look, I know you like your sport, so I figured I'd throw a sports topic in here. But Colin Kaepernick, okay, he said this. He's willing to go back to the NFL. The last time he played was in 2017, I believe, and that was with the 49ers. He says that he has unfinished business in the NFL. He's willing to be a backup quarterback, but if an NFL team will give him a shot at returning. He said, I know I have to find my way back in. Yeah, if I have to come back in as a backup, that's fine, but that's not where I'm staying. And when I prove that I'm a starter, I want to be able to step on the field as such. Do you think that Colin Kaepernick should just let it go, Royce?
No, I think you should chase your dreams, and I think he made his point, and I think the people who know what they're looking at, who've been following this, they can kind of get the sense that the NFL made their point, and I think it'd be a great thing for him to go back and prove that he's nobody's backup quarterback.
Even with him saying the NFL draft combine is like slavery, even with all the work he's done since, and he knows they still have a long way to go. With everything that he said, it's just like, why do you want to go back?
Well, I think I can just kind of relate to it from the sense of like I equate everything to artistry, you know, especially being an athlete your whole life. Like he grew up and this was his dream his whole life, you know. So there may be some unfulfilled sort of feelings there, you know, just in terms of being an athlete, you know. And I think we're multi-layered, so I think it's possible to be able to stand on things. He's standing firm in what he believes. He's not allowing anybody to change his beliefs in any kind of way. He hasn't buckled. He hasn't bent. And now I think this would be a very redeeming thing if he were to go back. I think if he would kind of conquer the NFL, so to speak, if he were to go back and prove that he's not a backup quarterback, because me personally, I think that that's a regurgitated talking point. I don't think that ever was a thing, you know? And he's been getting counted out his whole life. If you look at the Netflix special that he had counted out, he's been getting told what he couldn't do, what he couldn't achieve. And I think, you know, like when his back is against the wall like that, he's really comfortable in the fire. and I think it gets him going. So why not?
Gets him going. So since leaving the NFL, he's written a children's book, I Color Myself Different. Like you just mentioned, he had a Netflix series, Colin in Black and White, and that's kind of where he addressed the racism in the NFL and how he views the combine. And he got some heat for that as well. Of course, he couldn't tell his truth again. But since he's been gone from the NFL, they have allowed players to wear Black Lives Matter on their helmets. They have end racism messages in the end zone. So they've done a little bitty things to try to show that they are for a diverse and diversity and equality. So I guess the big question is, would Colin Kaepernick be a distraction? Because we know that's what the NFL is going to say. And they said it before, he's a distraction. But Colin feels like because they have stepped out and started to kind of show that they care about different things going on to Black people and people in need, that maybe it's now a good time for him to come back.
Yeah, I never thought he was a distraction. You know, viewership is viewership. You know, that's what they make a lot of that money from. You know, people who bring in a whole lot of casual fans. You got real like grassroots. You know, true definition. I got to go to the gym. You got true definition of fans, like, you know, grassroots fans, and then you got the casual fans who just show up so they can look at all of the quote unquote distractions. You know what I mean? So I think that viewership is something that they benefit from more than Colin does. You know, so why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, look, since you I know you got like 1 million people coming over there right now.
I gotta go to the gym. I got all my boys. We training together.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And I want to thank you for, stopping by to do a couple of training topics. I'll be honest with you, I kept it easy on you because I ain't want you to have to talk about nobody that you
I knew you weren't gonna do me like that. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, no problem.
It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you guys, and don't forget before you get out of here to sure you subscribe to Kera Dangerous Talk. Make sure you like this video and make sure you keep in touch with Royce the 59. You can check him out on Instagram and check out his show that he'll be doing more often very soon. And we out of here. How about that?